I am so excited for this next topic. We're going to talk about these trade rumors that have been swelling. Obviously, Za'Darius Smith is the guy that is most closely linked to the Detroit Lions. He posted a picture of him wearing a Honolulu blue shirt and said Week 10. There are reports that it is a done deal. They're just waiting for the signature to release it. We just talked about, I said, the Detroit Lions have the best secondary in the NFL.
By the numbers, I mean.
By the numbers.
Tough to argue.
It's tough to argue. And you look at them, the only time they get beat is when the pass rush can't get home and they're in man coverage for 7 seconds.
Yeah, they got the 25th ranked quarterback pressure rate, and they've only allowed 6 touchdowns in the year, second fewest by any team. And to put it in perspective, the first team, that's 6 touchdowns, right? The first team, 5. So by difference of 1.
Yes.
They're that close to being the number 1. Points per game, I guess, pass defense in the NFL. And what could help that is, bolstering that quarterback pressure rate. Because right now they currently sit at 25. I think they can do that, spending with the acquisition of Za'Darius Smith. I think there's other names as well. During the watch party yesterday, we saw it reported by ML Football, but credited and sourced from the Detroit News.
Yes. That
a lot of you guys are crying over, he's never going to try to get that A-plus guy. He's never going to try. Brad Holmes made the call and did try to get Max Crosby. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to go back to something I said last week when it comes down to this trade rumors. I speculated because Za'Darius Smith has been like kind of set in stone.
Yes.
Even he's been kind of just flirting with it, talking about it openly, right? That's crazy to do. Talk about that openly while you're actively on another roster.
Yeah.
I think that one, you can get it done just by pulling the trigger at any moment. What I truly think is happening, I don't think it's going to happen tonight. I don't think we're going to see that happen tonight. I think it's going to go down to the deadline tomorrow because I truly believe that Brad Holmes is still fishing for that big catch. He's still looking for that big fish, and he's not going to quit until he absolutely has to. And I fucking love that because that's what this year is. That's what this year means to me. That's what this year should mean to you. That's what this year means to those guys in that front office and those guys that fucking put those jerseys on every single week. Brad Holmes is trying to deliver a Super Bowl this year.
I agree 1,000%. You look at it, and the reports did come out from the Detroit News that he has made the calls. He has contacted the Raiders about Max Crosby. And then we heard yesterday, after that Raiders loss, they fired their offensive coordinator.
Fired the quarterback coach.
They fired the quarterback coach.
Everybody.
Antonio Pierce voicing how upset he is with the team and the organization. Max Crosby himself voicing how upset and frustrated he is with the team and organization and the way they are trending. Well, come home, Max Crosby. You are big enough. You are that guy where if you walk into Mark Davis's office and you say, trade me to the Detroit Lions, you will be on the Detroit Lions. The ball is in your court, Max. You want to win? You want a Super Bowl? Ask to be traded to the Detroit Lions. If you want to keep playing for last in the division, you want to keep messing around in Vegas with that terrible, godforsaken organization, do that. Get your bag. No hate here. Get paid, do your thing. But if you are truly, truly focused on winning, being a legend, and winning a Super Bowl, there is no reason you will be a Las Vegas Raider by this time tomorrow. I am extremely excited because they're going to make a move. I know they are. I do think it's going to be Za'Darius Smith. If they end up getting a bigger fish, I'll cream in my shorts. But the Lions will add someone. The Lions will add a player to this pass rush. Last night, they didn't sack Jordan Love once.
No.
That is a tough thing to keep happening consistently and to squeak out wins. They're doing it somehow, but that is not something that's not a trend you want to continue.
No.
You look at Josh Pascal would have made a big difference in that game. Mekhi Wingo would have made a big difference in that game. Those guys are good pass rushers, and they can play the run pretty well from that defensive end position. We saw Josh Jacobs kind of cooking those outside zone schemes because you didn't have a lot of good run-stopping edges on your roster. Josh Pascal coming back. If you get a Za'Darius Smith, who, oh, by the way, is under contract for next season too. Yeah. So when Aiden Hutchinson comes back, then your pass rushing combo next year is Aiden Hutchinson and Za'Darius Smith. You are just behind the Chiefs for the Super Bowl favorite. If you make a trade for any type of edge rusher, you will jump the Chiefs and you will be the betting favorite to win the Super Bowl.
What up, Chris?
So I want to go to that Za'Darius Smith route if you are making that trade for Za'Darius Smith, because I know you've voiced it and several others have that I want another piece with that. Like, I think Za'Darius Smith would be a game changer for the Lions. I think it would, like you said, put them as the betting favorite. But to me, losing Hutch and Davenport, again, we were talking about getting an edge rusher to help Hutch when Hutch was here and healthy. So I think you do need another body, unless you are getting that stud, that big fish, Max Crosby, Myles Garrett, whoever it is. Then I think you're fine with just getting one. But Za'Darius Smith, while I absolutely welcome that trade, I would like it to be with go get another edge that's that's a little older, that could just be another countable body, reliable body in the room, because that edge rushing, you talked about it, five of them gone.
Yeah.
Like you need more bodies in the room than just one, unless you're getting that big fish.
Yeah, I agree as well. And you got Pascal coming back next week, hopefully, which is going to be huge because he was by far your best edge rusher on the roster.
I'll tell you what's happened. He's either fishing for the big fish,
Yeah.
or he's trying to get two. And that's Za'Darius Smith is going to be a Detroit line. That I would almost like set that in stone. If I could run to the books and bet on that one at Caesars, use promo code Woodward, I absolutely would. But I just think what he's waiting on is that second foot to fall, whether that be that big fish or the other pairing of an edge rusher. Because we didn't just lose Aiden Hutchinson. You lost Marcus Davenport. You lost John Kaminsky. You lost more than just Aiden Hutchinson.
Yes. You lost your two starting edge rushers. You should replace at least one of them. Like Josh Pascal, I guess, is starting caliber.
Yeah.
But he is much better suited as a rotational guy.
And to be honest, bro, we don't really know what's going on with him right now.
No, we don't. We don't know what he's dealing with illness-wise. Hopefully he'll be back for the Houston game.
And it came after his checkup.
Yeah.
For melanoma, which he had in college. So it's like something weird.
Something weird. And we saw in the game against the Green Bay Packers, they were getting pressure on Jordan Love. They didn't get him down, but a lot of the pressures were coming from just Aleem McNeil being a freak of nature and absolutely working the rookie offensive line across from him, or the blitzes, sending Kirby, sending Anzo, sending Jack Campbell. That's how they were generating pressures against Jordan Love. Not even sacks, because they didn't sack him, but pressures. You need guys on the edge that can do that by themselves. You need guys on the edge that you can put back there, and they can get to the quarterback. So your Brian Branches, your Kirby Josephs, your Anzalonis, your guys that are elite in coverage can go out there and be elite in coverage.
Yeah. And Dan Campbell spoke to the media today during his press conference when he's asked about it, like, is this something more likely to happen? He reminded everybody it's not just on them. It's not for them to decide. So it sounds like, obviously, we know they made the offer for Crosby.
Yeah.
Something they'll offer out for somebody else. And that's the thing. It takes two to tango. The receiving party has to accept.
Yeah, and like I said, they're going to get an edge rusher. There is no doubt on my mind they will have a new edge rusher on this team tomorrow. The level of that player is waiting. I agree with Easy. I think if they just needed a little guy, if Hutch never got hurt, Za'Darius Smith would already be a Detroit line.
Yeah.
But they're looking to see if they can get that big fish. I don't know if they will. I'm not banking on that. The thing I thought about,
who do you think it is?
Za'Darius Smith and Chase Young. I would love that combination. Chase Young, expiring contract, cheap deal. You can get a 6th-round pick to get him here. Yeah. He's better than anybody you got on the roster right now. Say what you want about him, Nick. Shake your head. Say whatever you want. Chase Young is a better edge rusher than anybody you have on this roster right now.
Talent-wise, 100% he is, but he is not that culture fit. We saw him take plays off in that NFC Championship game. I know damn well Dan Campbell saw that as well. I'm with you. Talent-wise, he is. He's not that culture fit. I don't think they go after Chase Young. But 4 teams, they all have a couple things in common. They have pass rushers, and they're all 2-7. The Browns, the Raiders, the Giants, and the Jaguars are all straight dumpster fires over than those organizations. You think about pass rushers on each of those teams, you pin them against each other, that I believe Brad Holmes is doing this right now. Everyone is saying everybody else has the leverage because the Lions need a pass rusher. I'm saying all of these teams are straight falling apart right now. I think the Brad Holmes has a little bit of leverage to pin them up against each other and try to get the best deal for one of those elite or, maybe a step below elite edge
Obviously,
rushers.
I would want one of the elite guys. Obviously, Trayvon Walker would be awesome. Max Crosby, Myles Garrett, those guys would be awesome. The closer we're getting to the deadline, the lesser I'm seeing that's going to happen.
Man, if it's Trayvon Walker, I would
be extremely happy.
Yeah. I'd be one of those cheese stuffed glizzies.
Yes. Those are the best case scenario situations for sure.
That'd be fucking insane. Za'Darius Smith and Trayvon Walker.
Za'Darius Smith is, like you said, that's pretty much a done deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's put a number on it, percentage-wise, that Brad Holmes pulls off a big trade.
A big trade?
Yeah.
Like bigger than Za'Darius Smith?
Yes.
32%. Shout out Brian Branch. Free BP.
Shout out Rip Hamilton.
Yeah. I mean, I feel it's kind of perfect on the spot. 32%. Yeah. 33. 33.9.
I mean, that's decently high. I'm not.
That is decent.
That's decently high.
But the only reason I think it's that high is like he's actively looking for it. Otherwise, Za'Darius Smith would have been on this team this week for that divisional matchup.
Yeah.
And again,
And
you
obviously
have
reports are
multiple
out there.
roster
And these
spots
guys,
moved.
everybody in the chat saying Chase Young sucks, Chase Young sucks. All right, so you're good with James Houston playing out there? Because James Houston was getting
Hard pass.
embarrassed in the run game. Chase Young plays the run game well. You need complete guys.
Nick, what about you? What's the percentage?
On a big trade, better than Za'Darius Smith, I'm going to say about 15%.
What do you think is?
On just gut? My gut's telling me Brad does not like to give up those first-round picks unless it's going to be for a Crosby or a Garrett. And those teams obviously do not want to trade those big fish, even though they should to reboot and restart on their rebuild.
Yeah, if the Raiders hold on to Max Crosby, they're a poverty franchise. And
They are. I mean, they are that.
yeah, there is no reason why they should hold on to him. Their team is terrible. They're not going to be good anytime soon. They don't have a quarterback. You could load up. You could do what the Lions did. That's what I would be doing if I was Brad Holmes.
Yeah.
I'd be calling the Raiders and calling the Browns and be like, hey, guys, I wrote this playbook. I did. You just saw it when I came to the Lions.
Yeah.
Our roster sucked. I traded our best player, and now we're a Super Bowl contender in 3 years.
Yeah.
Maybe you should do something like that. I literally did it, and it's working. So if you want to be in the bottom for the next 10 years, hold on to him. If not, hit me up. Click.
I know we're going a little bit over with this question, but like, what do you think is more likely, the big fish or the duo of Za'Darius Smith and someone else?
I think the duo is more likely. I do. Again, I'd love to hold out hope for Myles Garrett or Trayvon Walker or Max Crosby or Trey Hendrickson, but I think it's more realistic we get Za'Darius Smith and a guy who could play 3 downs on the other side.
Nick?
Yeah, I believe it's the duo, 100%. I just think this big fish, the big fish are extremely expensive, and they don't want to trade them. It's simple as that. They're too expensive for Brad Holmes, I believe. There's not a chance he's giving up 3 first-round picks.
Yeah, and the Vegeta 90s said Trey Hendrickson in the chat.
They unfortunately
all the
won.
reports are is they're buying.
Yeah.
The Bengals are buying. If the Bengals would have lost to the Raiders, maybe that would have changed it, but the reports are the Bengals are holding on to Trey Hendrickson. They're trying to add a piece at the deadline.
Joe Burrow would even let the team celebrate the win because they want to focus on the Ravens this Thursday. So like they're locked in. That's their goal.
Yeah.
And that team's not one that deals with the deadline either way. So I would close the book on Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah.
I would open it up completely. Those Jaguars though.
Yeah.
Because they did get rid of their starting left tackle. That's kind of big. You have like a $50 million quarterback in Trevor Lawrence now after the re-up. And you got rid of his left tackle protecting him.
You got Trayvon Walker, you're gonna have to sign to a deal coming up very soon.
Yeah, and I don't think the GM gets fired, but like the head coach, I mean,
Doug Peterson's gone.
Yeah, and this season he's more than likely gone. You probably want to give your next coach as many tools as he'd like, or to fit his philosophy and what he would like to do. That would just make sense, but it's also just too good to be true type shit because like they got some dogs over there. I know the record's like ugly. That's crazy actually across the league really with these elite defensive lines. You got the Giants, elite defensive line, garbage record. You got the Jaguars. I think they have a really good defensive line too, garbage record. The Browns, you have Za'Darius Smith and Myles Garrett over there. Kind of weird.
Well, I mean, what do all those teams have in common?
No quarterback.
No quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, Jags got a quarterback.
Trevor Lawrence sucks.